Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the scripted beginnings for the Seattle Kraken, who are having their NHL expansion draft on the TV right back there today, July 21st, 2021. And unless you've been living under a rock, you should know that the entire world of professional sports is rigged and scripted, and it's done so by a very simple code known as gematria, which comes from Kabbalah, which has the core belief that God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. And we'll talk about four base ciphers: the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and the alphabetic order in the reverse, with the rules of numerology. I was waiting to make this video until Seattle's expansion draft. And no, the Seattle Kraken will not be in the Stanley Cup final as an expansion team. Some of the veterans to this research remember how back in 2017 I said why Vegas would be in the Stanley Cup as an expansion team and lose to the Washington Capitals, which I'm going to probably make a video on. That'll probably be the next video I put out on this channel. Going to talk a lot about the Vegas shooting that coincidentally happened on 10/1 right before the start of the 101st season of the NHL, when I guaranteed Vegas would be the first expansion team in 51 years to reach the Stanley Cup final. They won exactly 51 games during the regular season. They were comparing the Vegas shooting to 9/11 and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and the word shooting sums to 44, and the Capitals were in their 44th season that year. This year, first time in 5 years, got the Stanley Cup wrong. Once the Stanley Cup final was set, we knew it was in the bag for Tampa Bay. Everybody else was saying it was going to be Montreal. I was like, no, man, no, Tampa's winning it again. It's as plain as day. I was on New York from the beginning of the year, the Islanders, and I see now why. Again, I got a whole video on that. I see what the mistake was, and don't ask me who's going to win the Cup this year. It's, again, very, very easy, plain as day to see who will win it this year. Got a video on it on Patreon. Going to make an updated video once the NHL releases its schedules. But and quite frankly, if you look at the mistake I made this year and why I wasn't on Tampa from the beginning of the year and should have been, you'll probably be able to figure out the Stanley Cup champion next year. But most people aren't that intelligent. I had somebody on Patreon tell me they're going to unsubscribe at the end of the month, so I had to block their ass, saying that I don't say my picks with confidence. I'm like, man, you ain't going to find nobody that got more confidence in me. Hell, look at the picks I just put out in the rigged soccer for the men and women's tournament, talking about why we like so-and-so for the men's and so-and-so for the women's. Again, if you want that, you can sign up to the Patreon. If not, you can remain ignorant. Don't matter to me. But anyway, getting into the video, we call it the Seattle Kraken scripted beginnings. So, the Kraken were announced had their official birthday on April 30th, 2021 was when the Kraken were born. And I want you to see how they're hosting their draft right now, today, July 21st, exactly 82 days or a total span of 83 days later. And notice how Seattle Kraken sums to 83, Seattle sums to 82. So what a perfect day for the Kraken to host their expansion draft. Now I want you to see how they signed Dave Hackstall to be their inaugural head coach. And they announced this on June 24th, was when he was hired as the first head coach of the Seattle Kraken. And notice how he was hired 37 days before his upcoming birthday. Dave Hackstall sums to 37. Now, Luke Henman, he became the first player signed by the Kraken, the first player under contract, and he did so on May 12th. And what I want you to see is how he signed 353 days before his upcoming birthday. 353 is the 71st prime number. He's got the April 29th birthday, one day before the Kraken's birthday. And notice how from the date he signed to the expansion draft was exactly 71 days. Like how he signed 353 days before his upcoming birthday, the 71st prime number. Prime numbers are very important in this research. And notice how his name, Luke Henman, when you run the alphabetic order backwards, sums to 166, like how when you run the alphabetic order forwards, expansion draft is 166. And notice how he signed 13 days after his birthday. And notice his name, Luke Henman, when you run the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, sums to 13, or sums to 41, 41 the 13th prime number. All four ciphers matter. This dark blue cipher, known as Pythagorean gematria, is the cipher Manly P. Hall talks about in his book called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. So, again, look at his coach, Dave Haxtell. The first player Dave Haxtell is going to coach is Luke Henman, 179, 41st prime. Tampa Bay Lightning's 179. They just won the Stanley Cup 4 games to 1. So this upcoming year will be the 105th season of the NHL, but only the 104th season of play. Luke Henman, 104, right? The 04-05 NHL season never happened due to the lockout. So you could do this with every single player they've picked so far in the NHL draft, but I'm not going to make this video very long. But I want you to see how the first player they picked was Jeremy Lauzon from the Boston Bruins. This is the first player taken in the expansion draft. And notice how he's got the April 28th birthday, and he was picked 281 days before his upcoming birthday, and he's 24 years old. Look at Kraken, 60 when you run the alphabetic order, 24 when you run the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. 281 is the 60th prime number. He's 24 years old. The first player taken by the Kraken. How perfect. Notice Lauzon is also 89. 89 is the 24th prime number, and again, Kraken 24. And he was born on the 118th day of the year, and his coach, Dave Haxtell, 118. Again, how perfect is that? Picked 85 days after his 24th birthday by the Boston Bruins. Boston sums to 25, taken from the Bruins to the Kraken. And notice as well, this made me laugh, they picked a defenseman with their first pick in the expansion draft. Notice defenseman's 43, Mariners is 43, Seattle Seahawks is 43. They won their only Super Bowl with 43 points, and Seattle Kraken 43. And that's the other thing you could say about Luke Henman is he was picked a total span of 14 days after his birthday, 43, the 14th prime, 43, the big Seattle number. So, yeah, more news by the numbers, more rigged sports by the numbers. I'm going to get that video out on the Vegas Golden Knights. And if you want to support, you want to check out some of them. So that's right, too. We also got the Gold Cup pick. I forgot about that. That's one of the easiest calls we've had in a hell of a long time on Patreon. So that video is also up in the Patreon. You can sign up to that. Be on the lookout for that Golden Knights video, the 2017-2018 rigged 101st season of the NHL. That's going to be the next post I put out here. Till next time, guys. Talk to you soon.